Welcome to my talk. So this afternoon, I will explain you the system that I deployed at home on my home network to capture a lot of spam, a lot of emails, and to detect malicious emails like in the Fir3Ey3 appliance. Why Fir3Ey3? First, because I was looking for a nice name, so for the allies getting for the presentation, and Fir3Ey3 is always touchy about the brand about the name, so that's why I just changed the name and put Fir3Ey3 in mid-speech, that's for just for the story. So the first slide is classic stuff about myself. So I'm coming from Belgium. My name is Xavier Mertens, and I'm a freelancer doing, of course, security every day, doing my day job. But I also have a night job, so I'm hacker, blogger. I maintain a blog for years. I'm co-organizer of the Brutal Security Conference, a nice event, by the way, in Belgium. And for 1 year approximately, I was also a handler at the Internet Storm Center. So it means that the Internet Storm Centers, I don't know if you know the organization, it's US based, but we monitor the Internet 24 hours a day. We capture a lot of data using only bots and so on, and we write diaries. We try to keep people up to date with the latest trends, the latest vulnerabilities and so on. It's very, very interesting. My profile, so basically I like data and more your data, so I like to collect a lot of stuff on the internet, running only bots, running tools and so on. For example, I like grabbing base website, looking for nice information, certificates, source codes, passwords. I'm playing active defense. I prefer t-shirt and tie, so that's my business suite. And I'm a geek, I like gadgets. For example, this kind of project, I call this Aircraft 1. It's my drone, and I put an access point behind the drone, so I'm able to flew above my neighbors, using the authorization, of course, using Reddit, and to capture a lot of nice wireless data. So that's, I'm doing such kind of nice stuff. Usual disclaimer, blah blah blah, this is my talk, I'm only speaking for myself, so nothing related to Fir3Ey3. And let's dive now to the topic of today's spam. I presume that in this room everybody gets spam every day for years, and we receive a lot of spam. So basically, when you have an email address, even if you do not communicate your email address, you will get spammed by a lot of nice guys trying to send you messages. But what maybe the difference with you that I like spam. I like to collect a lot of spam all the time, but not all of them. So basically, the different type of stuff that we get for years, it's you can buy for the men in the room, blue pills, can be interesting from time to time. You can get some nice online games, you can buy Rolex, you can become millionaire. Based on the spam that I receive, if I'm following all those emails, I should be millionaire more than Bill Gates and all the guys, because I receive millions and millions every week and a lot of special offers. But really, it's not interesting for me. That's not the kind of spam that I'm looking for. But basically, I'm looking for this. You also receive nice invoice. Also, I don't know why, but I get invoice. I buy a lot of stuff on the internet. I get invoice all the time. Also, I'm a good friend of printers and scanners, because I got a lot of notification. I stamp this page, I receive this fax, and I got nice documents. Or from time to time, you receive interesting files. So this is really the way, the kind of spam that I like to receive. When you receive such kind of spam, the first file that you will have is just a basic attachment. So you get email, and attached to this email you have a file, a zip file, an exe file, a jar file, and dumb people just open the file, click on it, and the file is executed on the computer. This is autoscope during this presentation, because it's very stupid spam. The next type of spam that you can receive is an HTML spam with a link to a malicious file that you have to download. So it's not sent in attachment, but you click, you download it, and then you open it. Same, it's autoscope in this case, because it's too stupid. Who will open exe file? Who will start executing exe file? Maybe more people than you expect, but it's autoscope. What's really interesting for me is this kind of email. So you receive an Excel sheet, a PowerPoint, a Word document, and it contains a macro. Basically, the trick to make you enable macro, it's a protected document. And for most people, if it's protected, it means that it should contain very interesting information. Oh, that's nice, maybe I will get some password, I will get some financial information from organizations, some bills, some interesting projects or interesting, and a lot of stuff. If it's protected, by default people think protected, so it contains useful information. The other kind of documentation that the document that we can receive, that's really a pain at the moment, is JavaScript files, which is so JavaScript. It's not JavaScript based on the web technology that you can receive, but you can also have the Microsoft version of JavaScript, which is executed via wscript.exe, which is standard on all Windows operating systems. And by default, when people double-click on a JavaScript link, it will be executed, and usually people will get harmed. The characteristic of such message, such spam, is that first, there is a low detection by regular antivirus. Because basically it's a text file, it's a macro, so AVs don't have time, don't have the capacity to detect all of them. And very important, those files are not malicious by default. It's just a script which will execute all the actions, and one of them is to download a payload which can be remote or local. We will see an example later, so it's not malicious, it's just a dropper. And it's a scripting language, so we have multiple ways to achieve the same result. It's like a developer. When you ask a developer to do something, to achieve some result, there are different ways to achieve it, and it's the same for scripting language. To download the executable, there are many ways to do this on Windows systems. Before going deeper, I will give you some quick tips how to protect yourself. It's very easy. The first one, as I said, when you receive a JavaScript file, a .js, by default on Windows, there is an association with wscript.exe. A colleague of mine on the Sans website wrote a diary a few days ago. It's so easy to replace the association, and instead of associating the .js with wscript, just associate notepad.exe. So if your user will double-click on the JS file, the notepad will pop up, it will get the script, the code of the script, but it will never be executed. It's so easy, you can deploy this using a GPU, so why not do it? That's the first way. The second one is, of course, disable macro in offices you also use GPU. Microsoft is really aware of this problem, and with the latest version of Microsoft Office 2016, there is a way via GPU to disable macros. Honestly, some people will always complain, yeah, but I need macro because blah blah blah. But I think that in 99% of the cases, users don't need macros, because have a look at a suite like Microsoft Office. The regular user uses only 10-15% of all the features. So why not enable macro? Just disable them via GPU. And if power between both user needs the macro, just put it in a separate group and do the stuff enable macro. So that was two quick tips to protect yourself. So back to those macros. Of course, the macros are obfuscated. Because if you try to read the macro by default, it's unreadable for the human. Well, unreadable. It's very complicated to read them. And this is an example. So this is the character. I made a mistake. It's a B. Obfuscate. I made a mistake in my sentence. The B should disappear. So the goal is to obfuscate, and I will show you some classic example of obfuscation. That's the kind of script that you can use. So this one is quite easy because the script is split across multiple variables, and this one is easy because it's just a concatenation with plus of all the characters in the macro. That's quite easy to deobfuscate. This one is also nice. We have a function which will remove all the underscore from the string. So by default, immediately when you read this, you see from a human point of view, you see that it's HTTP response body. So you see this, but for a computer, it's quite difficult to understand this. So an antivirus by default will not be able to catch it. This one is also interesting. So we have multiple variables. Again, the code is split in variable, and we have some hexadecimal replacement, \r, \n, so line carriage return inserted. We have some, another one, and you see that the code is split across multiple variables, and then the goal is to concatenate them to execute the script. The last example, very nice. I catch this one from last week. That's the latest Loki campaign ongoing for a few days. You have double obfuscation. All the script is in one big variable, and this very, no, sorry, that's the next slide. I'm going too fast. So this one is a nice one. Every word is in a table, and there is a specific function which takes the last element from the table. So basically, what we have act, tif, x, act, ct, exp, and the environment, and so on and so on. So again, very difficult for a computer to read this and to see if this is malicious, but I really like this one because you see that the size of the table is different. Sometimes you have 2, 3. In this case, you have only an empty string and so on. So it's very nice. And about Loki, this is the one that I found last week. The variable contains the whole script, so I had to cut it because it's very, very long. It's a few kilobytes. But this string, it's so simply. We just split using nothing. We reverse because you see that the script is starting with v, space, so far, blah, 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 and so on. We reverse, we join, and this script is also obfuscated. So you have 2 layers of obfuscation. That's the latest Loki campaign ongoing for a few days. And of course, the goal of all the script is to work below the radar to be undetected by classic systems. So, where is my payload? Usually payload, so the script that you execute is just a dropper, and usually the malicious files are downloaded from website, Read, WordPress, Joomla, the classic CMS, which are unprotected, which are unpatched, and so on. So in most cases, it's a vulnerable WordPress instance, but also sometimes you can find the script appended to the file itself. And this is another nice example. I discussed about it. You have the URL for the full analysis on the Internet Storm Center website. The file was a .lmk, a link file on Microsoft for Microsoft, which contained this small script. And the script looks for a specific string, tvqaa, that you can find here, tvqaa, and the rest of the LNK file. So what has been happened is the base64 version of the PE file, so the executable. So the script just search for this string, put the remaining part in a temporary file, using certainty decode, it decodes the base64, and using run-dll32 to execute the rest. So in this way, you download the LNK file using an email, but there is no more communication, so you can detect any transaction using phishing. That's a nice example. So, why Fir3Ey3? Again, I obfuscated the name because this presentation has nothing to do with Fir3Ey3, just that in my day job, I'm playing with Fir3Ey3 devices, and honestly, those are very awesome devices. They collect a lot of interesting stuff, so that's really, really nice appliances. But I see 2 main issues with Fir3ey3. First, they are very expensive. When I say expensive, it's really, really expensive. So it's only for big organizations, and don't expect to have a fire. Yeah, you can buy if you have a lot of money, but small companies, small and medium business, they don't have the budget to buy Fir3ey3 devices. And also, the second issue for me is that Fir3ey3 is very conservative because malware, IOCs is the core business, and they don't share. That's for me the main reason. Fir3ey3 don't share, and yes, they write nice blog posts when they find a new type of attack and so on, but there is no way to share IOCs with them. So my idea was, okay, I receive a lot of spam. I need to analyze this spam almost in real time. So what can I do? And that's the second part of this talk. The first tool that I use, well, usually when I do manual analysis, is the alwaydump.py. It's a tool written by D.T. Stevens. It's a friend of mine, a very nice guy with a lot of background. And the tool is quite easy. On the first example, you just issue the invoice.doc file as an argument, and you receive a dump, an output of how the document is built. and you see that the section A3 has a hem, which means that there is a macro in this file. So we execute the second time the OLA command using, so we specify the section A3 using v decode the macro, and we get the code of the, which is, this one is quite easy, but it's also unreadable because you see that the variable names are unreadable. It's that's nice, but this tool is requires manual intervention. So you need to download the file, you need to analyze the file, and so it's very boring because I'm a lazy guy. I like to automate stuff. So the idea is to automate, and I was looking for a solution with the following requirements. First, to extract automatically some line times from emails, to analyze internet files, of course, if possible to block them, because by default, so it's not my goal, because my goal is to collect files and to analyze them, but it would be also interesting to block them for the regular people. Of course, to collect data, samples, URLs, and to save the result for research purposes. So I have a big database of samples, when I receive them, all the score, antivirus, and so on. So it's very interesting. The components, of course, you need the MTA. So you need a mail server to be able to handle mails. You need some nice domain names and MX records. Of course, you need to filter all the garbage. So I'm using Spam Assassin and ProcMail for pre-filtering. So why do I send emails about blue bills, about Rolex and so on to my solution? No, I just need to collect mail, suspicious emails containing juicy stuff. So the pre-filtering is done. So I'm dropping already a lot of emails. It's based in Python with some modules. Of course, you need a VT, so Virus Total API, and the other tool that I use is OLA VPI. I will talk about it in a minute. Sources, of course, you need to grab some material, you need to grab some spam. So I'm the lucky owner of some very old domains that I own for more than 10 years. So I think that my main domain, Lucian.de, I own this domain, I registered the domain 15 years ago. So it means that I'm the lucky guy who has a mail on every spammer database in the world because my email address is everywhere. And when you have some nice domains, just add some MX records to handle email and some casual mailboxes. What does it mean? I have some domain that I've registered a long time ago, but I'm also a big fan of nice domain names. Today, to buy a domain name, it costs you a few euros per year, so it's not very expensive. So I have some nice domains that I never use, so I just put MX record on them, and a casual mailbox means that if you send something at my domain, it will be cached and will be processed by my mail server. So send to foo, send to blah blah blah, send to this is a real email address at domain.com, it will be cached and will be processed. So that's a casual. And once you did that, you can sleep and wait for the spammer to reach you. But there are other techniques. Just use your email address and save the email address on a nice website. On big website, in forums, register on mailing lists and so on, and you will see that very quickly you will get interesting spam. To analyze, so I talked about OLA VBA a few minutes ago. So the goal of this tool is like OLA dump. It does basically the same, but the very nice feature is Python API. So the goal is to extract, to automatically submit the file to the API, and it will give you interesting results. It will really analyze and also extract IOCs and give you a nice overview of the result. My script is called mine2vt. Why? Because the name, the first idea that I had when I wrote the script was just to submit the samples to Virus Total. So I extract the mine time, generate the hash, and send the hash to Virus Total to see if it's known, what's the score, and so on. But I added more and more features. So what does the script? It extracts mine attachment from emails. You can also, of course, restrict which kind of attachment you need because it's useless to send JPEG, to send GIFs files, and so on. So you just analyze just juicy files. They are checked or they are submitted to VT. So first I check the hash. If it's not existing, I just submit automatically the file to Virus Total. The main issue that I have at the moment is that Virus Total is not a real time, so in real time. So it means that if I submit the file to Virus Total, it takes a few seconds, a few minutes before getting the result. So I'm not able to send the request, analyze the file, wait for the result, and automatically detect if it's malicious or not. Of course, it supports zip files because most of the files are coming in zip archive because usually they have a higher chance to be bypassed by the classical file result. Of course, I have a big database of samples. Also, I'm extracting URLs from all emails. It could be interesting, but it's very difficult to automate the process because when you extract URLs, you will get a lot of duplicates and a lot of false positives because the mailing list, for example, you have always all the links to unsubscribe, all the links to the product, all the links to companies and so on. So it's very, very complicated to process them automatically. And as a bonus, I'm able to send all the data to the ELT stack for processing. It's also sending data to syslog, to my regular syslog method, so I'm collecting via Splunk so we can generate my statistics. This is an example, a classic output. So I'm using postfix. Postfix receives an email from an unknown user. The script detects different MIME types, so we have a type, we have the message, we have different attachments, but it's a very nice one, so application MS Excel. I'm also extracting the name if available, so that's invoice detail, blah, blah, blah. When you read this, you are pretty sure that it's malicious. So the script found an interesting file. The file has been, so this is a hash. The file has been scanned on VirusTotal. This is the actual score returned by VirusTotal, and the file has been scanned at this timestamp, and I'm also computing the time difference. So I know immediately if the file is a brand new one, so it has been scanned by another guy a few seconds ago, a few minutes ago, or if the file is an old one because it has been scanned a few minutes ago. And then I'm also adding I'm adding a SQL database, so I'm adding the hash in the database with information like the file name, the first time that I saw the file, the last time, the score. I have the initial VirusTotal score and the last score, so I can see if there is a trend and if more and more antivirus are able to detect the file. And also, I have a graphic about this, the number of times that I detected the sample, because you will see later that I received the same sample multiple times. I don't know why, but so this is the kind of output. And OLA VBA, that's the output of the analysis, returns a lot of information about the malicious control. So it is able to detect some interesting string like warning, total, because it detects that we have a war and link, so that's concatenation for some interesting words. We see IOCs, there is an update winrar.js, so that's suspicious. Update office.exe, and we see all also suspicious API calls, kill, shell, run, create object, write text. If you see this, basically that's malicious. The setup, it's basic, so you can define your VirusTotal API key. Be careful. So I'm the happy owner of a VirusTotal official key, so I mean that I can submit a lot of requests because via one of my customers and via the SANS Internet Song Center, I have API key and I can submit a lot of files to VirusTotal, but by default, if you register an account and you get an API key, you get only 4 requests per minute. For a normal user, that's nice, but when you automate stuff, you will reach the total limit, and VirusTotal will reject all the requests very quickly. You can, of course, exclude some MIME types that you are not interested in. Why submit PNG, GIF, JPEG, BNB, and so on. You can specify which Elasticsearch server you need to send the data to, your database, and this is a sample of my proc.me.rc. So every time I receive an email, I'm just doing a carbon copy to my script, which uses the std.in to get the file and process it. So based on this, so as I said, I'm collecting a lot of samples. So this graphic represents the number of samples that I got for the last 3 months. So April, May, and June. You have the different kind of extension that I got. And you see, that's quite a nice number. So close to 13,000 samples. In fact, those are zip files, and you can correlate this with new Loki campaigns. That's incredible. Every time you have a new Loki campaign on the way, I'm spammed and I'm able to detect when something specific occurs. So that's the nice dashboard. So the next one is, I get some samples, so how do samples are detected by regular antivirus? I like the statistics, so 4.3% have a VT score above 5. That's very bad, very, very bad. And you see that what's not detected, I have 6,000 samples. The next one is 4, 5, and so on, and you can see that I also have some hits when the score is no, so no file is detected with more than 20. Yeah, I have 30, 35, but so antivirus are doing very bad. Another one, that's why I said that I receive multiple times the same samples. This is the raw sample that I received for the last 3 months. It's not bad. This one, so this one starting was 196, so the MD5 hash, I received it close to 300 times. I don't know why. I don't know why. This is the real. So it's MS Word document. I have no idea why the script was, the sample was received so many times. What's good, by the way, is that by time we see that the score is increasing all the time. If I check, I think that I wrote the slide 3 days ago, so maybe I hope that the score increased, but I have no idea why I received so many. If somebody has a suggestion, yes?
That's because they're basically trying to hit as many people as you can in the organization.
Maybe.
See, it's
because I have catch-all mailboxes, so yeah. Blah 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 at the same domain, so maybe they send.
I have the same problem. It's the BSides London email address. They just look for every possible variation.
Yeah, that's true.
And they start dumping the emails because the more that they dump, the more likely they're going to get one through and somebody's going to
and the cost of an email is 0. It costs nothing to send emails today. So if you want to play, my script is available on my GitHub account. I'm not a developer, so it means that for me that's really bad code. I just wrote it like this, and so it's not optimized, and I'm sure there are bugs and so on, but once again, the goal of the script is for my personal usage to collect data, but feel free to use it. Feel free to expand it, and I have I have a wish list. So for example, I would like to have support for multiple archive system. I see more and more a lot of hard files. Also, I'm also seeing some .cap, more and more .cap files coming from Microsoft. I have the plan to integrate it with Mist to exchange IOCs. So I'm a big fan of Mist, which is a tool to exchange IOCs across multiple organizations. So it will be interesting. And of course, if I can add Yara support, I can write Yara rules to better detect what's malicious. So that was my presentation. It's almost time for some beers. If you want to reach me, so I'm very active on Twitter. My private email, my company email, and of course via the SANS if you want to reach me. Thank you very much.